Hey, this is Ben Solomon, and welcome to this episode of the Techno Leadership Show. In this episode, I want to cover something that I personally have struggled with during my early stages of career, and also I've seen others who I've helped, who I've supported, who have been a manager too, struggle with these aspects as they were considering going to the next level, which is understanding how to match your strengths to your ideal role and company. Now, what does that all mean? If you've gone through season 1 and 2 of the podcast, you'll see that I've talked a lot about strengths and how to elicit the strengths using multiple psychometric tests and then using a common thread across them to figure out what your actual strengths are, which is showing up as a common denominator across the board in how you act, react, all of those aspects. And when you have that idea, you can understand your core strengths, the strengths that if you use on a more consistent basis is going to lead to more fulfillment. Now, if you're someone who's super detail oriented and you want to go into tech management, there are certain things that you'll have to think about. The tendency for someone who's detail oriented is to also micromanage our staff. Knowing that this is an inclination of yours, which was a fantastic thing when it came to you being a tech professional, because it needed that level of detail orientedness to ensure the projects that you did got delivered properly. The option to think about is if you want to go into tech management where you're leading people, you might want to look at a government or large company where there's very strong processes and bureaucracy to make sure that you're not moving too fast and that your detail orientedness is utilized away from managing your people, but in managing the projects that you have to manage, the budgets, the projects, those sort of aspects. Because in a smaller environment, you'll have a smaller team, and if you have the tendency to micromanage, you will lead the team to get burnt out because you'd be too much in their space and you wouldn't have enough processes and procedures in the organization to be able to dot the I's and line the T's sort of thing. So if you are detail oriented, you want to get into tech management, the best place for you to give your highest value is in a bigger business, highly bureaucratic, more systems and processes and procedures that suits your detail orientedness. But if you're someone like myself, who's very big picture, I'll look at it as a huge long-term big picture thing, whereas my detail orientedness is not great. I can work for short periods of time in detail-oriented things when I'm setting up servers, when I'm designing certain architectural aspects, all of that. But if I'm going to keep working in that space all the time, I'd get burnt out. So for someone like myself, if I ended up in a large bureaucratic business, I would burn out because of the amount of red tape and amount of systems and processes and things that have to be adhered to make things happen. Whereas in a more fluid, more startup-y style environment, I'd be able to move fast, get results, create impact, and work towards a long-term vision. So the detail-oriented team members in your team can help you ensure that projects are done to spec, to project guidelines and scope and everything else. Whereas you can manage the bigger picture, set the vision, drive the vision, and ensure that you utilize the bigger picture aspect of you, which is to utilize things like coaching to support your team, to help them realize the vision, to help sell the vision properly, and then get them to come with the how. You set the big vision of what we're trying to achieve and what the stipulations of that might be, and any restrictions that you may have. but let your detail-oriented person in your team, or a team of people that are working on technological aspects who are more detail-oriented, figure out the what. As long as they conform to all of the big guidelines that need to be conformed to, let them do that. They are the ones who are great at that. So that's the small, very high level aspect of looking at it just from the point of view of big picture thinker versus detail-oriented thinker. And then there's other aspects that you can also look at. But if you can start with that, it'll help you understand for your strengths, should you go into managing a bigger team, a smaller team, a more agile team, or a more bureaucratic, slow functioning team. And based on that, you'll know which type of company. Do you apply for a government role? Do you apply for a role in a big business where things move slower? Or do you go into a startup environment or a smaller business where you have more control, more ability to make changes more fluidly without having all the bureaucracy in there to stop you from being able to make those quick agile changes? So hopefully that helps you out. Hopefully that gives you a baseline understanding of how to match your explicitly knowable skill like detail-orientedness, big picture thinking to a role that you're going for, and you can be fulfilled, do your best work, and create the best value that you uniquely can create while enjoying that job. So hopefully that helps you out. I wish you all the best in your journey as a tech professional, manager, and leader. If you like this episode, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button so that you're notified of future episodes as they're released. I look forward to talking to you in a future episode. Take care.